Hey, welcome back to the channel and the Minimax build. Today I'm actually going to, sorry, I just saw something there that I was checking out. It happens all the time. Anytime I'm working on the plane, I'm walking around, I just see something that I make a mental note of. So what I want to do today is I want to work on the windscreen. So I've got that first piece cut and sitting over here. I'm going to go grab it and get it in place, and then I can start working on these side pieces, and I will kind of gather up the materials here, and then we'll get to work on how we're going to do this. So basically what my plan is first thing is just to figure out, I'll just kind of tape the front part of the windscreen in place, and then I will come along on this and I'll put my material up here on the side so I can see exactly where everything meets. Then all I have to do basically is just create this triangle here that goes from here to here, from where the piece is up here to down here, and I'll just use the flat surface here to come across, and then we'll start kind of piecing it together from there. Alright, so I'm just going to get this in place here, and then I'm going to put some tape on here. All right, I'm just going to center it up here, and my assembly's got to come forward a little bit. And I already have a center mark right here, so that looks good up there, and this looks good here. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape here so I don't lose track of it, so it doesn't move around on me down here. Get on that line. And then I'm just going to take just a couple quick measurements. I'm just curious, I want to make sure I'm ending up square in the front here, so I'll just measure where I'm at, 7 5/8 and 7.5. So the side's actually 7 5/8, 7.5. What you got to do is rotate a little bit. Inches on the edge. inches off the edge. So we'll pick up our dealio. Get that right. Now we'll take a piece of material I have here. Nothing particular about the blue and the white. They're both basically Lexan. It's just two different manufacturers. One sheet I got was covered in blue. The next sheet I got was covered in white. It doesn't really matter, so it's the same material. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this. I'm going to get my measurements for where I need to be here, and what I need to account for is that on the other side I've got to actually lower. This has to be lowered a little bit, so that side I am just to the inside of my bolt, and on this side it's pretty similar. I'm just to the inside of the bolt here, so I'm just checking out how that works out. The straight line kind of runs right through there, so I'll have to actually end up working my side kind of around that bolt there. That shouldn't be too bad, so I think I'm going to do it like this. Put this to the front. There. And I'll go on the other side and mark the top here. And I want to account for this basically I have about 1/8 of an inch gap under here, so I'm going to actually go 1/8 of an inch up over here. Figure out where I want to make my line, which I actually want it to be on the back side a little bit of the stem. That's my tube about 1/8 of an inch, so make the line there. All right, so now I've got what I need. I've got what I need marked out. I'll just show you what I did here. I'm basically going from the front corner, I went 1/8 of an inch above, and I'm going to have to kind of go square back, and I have 1/8 of an inch on the side here. So that's going to be my piece, and then once we cut that piece, we're going to test it over here, and it should work out the same. The Lexan's going to get sandwiched in between, and then what'll happen down here on the deck, as you can see, since my windscreen is a different shape than what's planned, this would have been narrower. This would have cleared this by a long shot on the inside of this bolt, so it wouldn't be an issue at all, but I just happened to be on the pretty much right on it. So what I'll end up with is my hinge will break right there, and I'll actually have a little bit of a notch cut in the windscreen to work around that bolt, and I'll have a separate piece of hinge here and another piece of hinge here, and it'll it's just one of those joyous little discoveries along the way that you just have to figure out how to work around, and so that's what I'm doing. All right, so let me get this piece down. I'll draw these lines, and then I'll get this piece cut out, then we'll test it on the other side. It should be identical, and we'll make another one, marked out. So 5 minutes, half an inch. Alright, that's my shape. A little bit of confession time. I've had a few of these along the way, right? I missed the notes. Right now you see, what you see here is a double stack of washers only because of the size bolts that I had. But I checked with my technical counselor, Lowell Ferran, back in Indiana, and I also checked with the team guys. They said, hey, leave the fours alone, keep them in there. I just asked because I didn't know if I was gonna have to go a little bit backwards to go forwards again, because I did miss the note that these were, you think I would have realized this. I drilled 3/16 holes in this bracket, but because I couldn't actually see those holes and I was just feeling for them with the angle drill, I was wondering why I wasn't just falling into the 1/4 inch hole. It's because I was drilling out the 3/16 hole to 1/4 inch, and but anyway, I've got 1/4 inch bolts now, but it won't be a double stack of washers. It'll only be one washer, and it'll actually be a little bit smaller than what you see here. So it'll all work out fine. But in case you noticed it and you said, hey, those look kind of big for what it should be, it's because they are a little bit big. And now I'm gonna cut this out. And I'm actually using my bandsaw to cut this, and I noticed with this particular blade on my bandsaw, this cuts extremely well. So, all right. Over here. So, see how this goes. Basically, it's going to slide in between. I'm going to be flush with the front, so I can see where my hole has to go. But the first thing I have to do is I've got to make this little indentation for the washer here, and I just want to make sure that I'm going in a straight line. It appears as though I am. So I've just got a small notch right here. It's going to be about a 1/16 of an inch wide, so I'm going to go notch that out real quick so that we can be sitting flat on the deck, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now you can see we sit down nice and flat over that washer, and I was careful not to move the bracket here so that I can actually hop in here and make myself a mark where we're going to drill the 3/16 hole. And that'll just show me where the center is. In all of these holes that are going to be drilled for the 1/8 inch rivets and for this 3/16 hole, they're actually going to be drilled just slightly oversized, which will allow for expansion of the material. So instead of actually using a 3/16, I'll use something just slightly larger. So let's go drill that out. Yeah, I got a nice view here of where that needs to be. So, and by the way, I've already traced my part on the other sheet before I started working with this one, so I've got my template laid out for the next one. And yeah, so let me just get this hole drilled here and grab my center punch, get that taken care of, and then we'll go change the battery in the camera and we'll be back over there. All right. All right, so I put the bolt back through there, and now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement for what this top hinge, what the distance is going to be. So I want to step back. See, I'm going to have to come to here, and then we'll have to shape this hinge to actually fit perfectly here, but at any rate, this is going to be a hinge that is 25 3/4 long. All right, so I've got my the two hinges that go on the sides, that go on the kind of the top sides in this configuration. Actually, this one goes on that side, but I've got those marked out for where I need to drill my holes, and these will be 1/8 inch holes. We'll be using some 1/8 inch cherry rivets that will go through the hinge, through the plastic, the polycarbonate, and then we'll be backed with a washer for a rivet, and that will and like I mentioned before, we'll go ahead and drill the holes in the plastic at 1/8 inch so we can use clecos and stuff, and then when we get ready to put it all together, we'll actually drill those out slightly oversized so it can expand and contract without cracking and busting everything. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and drill these 1/8 inch holes and deburr these two, and then we can move over to the over to the Plein and start drilling the holes through the plastic, and then we'll start piecing it together from there. Okay. Yeah. So let me get the drill press set up for this, and we'll just knock these out real quick, and then we can go to the next step. All right. All right. So I've got my holes drilled in the hinges, and I've got them deburred, so I'm ready to go on to the next step. And I brought this is the orientation of this piece. It goes like this, but I brought it over to my table here so that I can use my edge of my table, because I need to make sure that my hinge can at least go 90 degrees to this surface here. It needs to fit pretty much 90 degrees to the front windscreen. So I'm just going to use the table to get these first holes drilled, and I'll let you see the front. We just have like there's a little bit of an angle here where we come up against the fuselage top, so I'm just holding back about 1/16 of an inch from there, just so I don't have the metal riding on the fuselage. And so that there's that part, and I didn't drill the top holes. I didn't drill the holes here, and I didn't drill any holes really close to the edge here. I actually started to write those, and then I told myself no, so just reminded myself not to drill the holes there. The top hole is actually going to be drilled into the vertical tube, so I wanted to leave that one for later. And so all I have to do now is take my bit, and I'm just going to pick a hole like in the middle here. Let's start with that one. Good thing about polycarbonate is it drills really easy, so you don't have to worry about cracking it or anything. It doesn't have the issues that acrylic does. So I drilled into my table far enough where I could actually get a cleco in there, so hold that in place so that I can get the other ones drilled here. Alright, and I can just drill the other holes. Alright, and I can just assemble that. You're going to like this cool tool, so is what? Alright, now we can take it over to the Plein, stand it up, and we'll be able to locate where our other holes are. And it appears as though this one will have to stand back just a little bit from the edge. Should be good though. All right, let's go over there. All right, so we'll reassemble back here. We've got this hole. tape here, and I just want to make sure that I put this piece over up against the other plastic that it stays where I want it. So I'm just going to tape this real quick. Now that I've got it in place, I'm going to drill the first hole. And we'll get a quick go in that. And then we'll move up to the top. Get a hole up here. Drill the rest of the holes. Move my fingers out of the way, that'd be a really good idea. Okay. So now I got that in place. It's starting to take some shape, so that's really good. Now I will hop over to the other side. I've got to go cut out the other piece that goes on the other side. I'll repeat the same process, and then we'll get that one to the same place that this one is. Just get it in position. I'll drill this hole, and then I'll get it up here. We'll drill the holes in the side, and we'll be in good shape to then move on, and we'll do the front. I believe I'm gonna have the front maybe overlap this one here on both ends, and then we'll see how that works out, if it's the right thing to do to have that overlap right there. But there'll be a hinge going across the front here, and then up here the plastic drills, we drill into the tube, so we'll mark these across here, and we'll drill those holes, and then we'll make our hinge, well, our two hinges, because we have this section here, but we'll have a piece of hinge here, and we'll have a piece of hinge here that will fit in between. And I left this one will actually this one will overlap as well at this point, so I think that'll be, I can either overlap it there, or I can make it fit up against here and it may be cleaner to make it fit up against here, so I'll probably end up doing that. So the first hole will be back here somewhere. I'm not concerned about the front because the front's going to be held down nicely by the front hinge. So yeah, I may just fit this one in with this one, so it's a little cleaner on this side, but I'll figure that out when I get to that step. So let me go cut out the other piece and kind of get it to that same stage, and then yeah, it's looking really good. All right, so that's all the time I have for today. Tomorrow I am doing my my next to last, at least my instructor tells me I've got tomorrow and then next Saturday, and I'll have my tail wheel endorsement. He just wants me to get three good wheel landings in a row, and then he'll sign me off. So I'm getting really close, which is super exciting. It's been an amazing process learning to fly this airplane, and Citabria is just a super fun airplane to fly. And once I got on autopilot, able to work all the controls without really having to think too much about it, things got a lot better and started progressing a lot faster. And yeah, I noticed that for my final flight, not this Saturday but next Saturday, he actually has me in a decathlon, so that should be a lot of fun. Anyway, all right, so this is what we got. We got a great start on the windscreen, and I got both of these made, drilled, clecoed in place, and I got the front piece made, which is right here. So that'll get riveted to the Lexan, and it'll get bolted to the fuselage. Same goes here. This gets riveted. There'll be hinge material here, and it gets riveted to the Lexan, bolted to the fuselage, and that'll be just great. This looks super good. I'm really happy with it, and we'll just get a look from the other side too, so we can just see it here. And of course, it gets riveted. It gets riveted on the sides here, right there, and it gets riveted to the top up here. So that'll goes right about there, and that'll go on there. And I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty confident. Oh, I got it sitting right here. Pretty confident that my instrument panel clears. Let's hope my math was all good. So let's get that about in the right spot, somewhere around there. And I've got the clearance all the way around that I'm looking for, so that's really good. That'll be completely isolated, and no problems there. So that's what we look like currently. I love it. All right, yeah, so hoping to be back in the shop on Sunday, and we'll be able to continue on with the rest of this windscreen, and then I'm going to cut out the parts for the headrest. So that'll be next. I've got another little project. I'm going to make myself a little like kind of a leather chart pouch to put in here. So I'm gonna stop by. Actually, I couldn't believe there's still a Tandy Leather around, but there is one pretty close to me. So I'm gonna go to Tandy Leather and actually buy some leather and make something to go inside here. So that's pretty neat as well. So anyway, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you later.